Downtown Fort Lauderdale has become a bustling home for tens of thousands of residents. Now there's development to give them a better backyard. The Community Foundation of Broward bringing together a slew of funders and guests to hear about this new initiative called Huizenga Park Reimagined.
I think it's important that we look at the Huizenga Park as our backyard or our front yard for the downtown community. We now have 25,000 residents who live in downtown, and the parks are their first impression of our community. So we want to show our support for the initiative, and we wanted to introduce our fund holders to this project because we thought it might be something they'd like to support as well.
In the room to discuss it, Steve Hudson, who is related to Wayne Huizenga, as well as Jenny Morejon from the Downtown Development Authority, known as DDA.
We are so pleased to be here today with the Community Foundation and fund holders who have made such an impact in this community. We're here to present our reimagining of Huizenga Park, downtown Fort Lauderdale, and really the county's signature downtown park right on the New River. We built this park 30 years ago and we're in the process of renovating it. We are looking for legacy builders here in this community to follow the footsteps of the namesake of the park, Wayne Huizenga, and help contribute the final funds to ensure that this park project becomes a reality. We are over 85% funded for our capital project and looking to finish our goal here with the community's support.
The Community Foundation of Broward is located right in the heart of downtown Fort Lauderdale itself, which makes this a hot topic for discussion.
Today just seemed like it really made sense for us to be able to host this, to introduce the idea to you, to get some feedback from you, and to hopefully inspire you to think about how your giving could support the Huizenga Park. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my friends Steve and Jenny. Thanks.
All right. Good morning, thank you. As many of you know, the park was named after my uncle, Wayne Huizenga. He had a vision for Fort Lauderdale to be this amazing, dynamic city. And he insisted that all of his companies were based here in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm quite certain that we wouldn't see the Fort Lauderdale that we have today if it wasn't for that vision and kind of that requirement for all those companies. Brought talent, brought people here, and it brought notoriety to Fort Lauderdale as well. Fort Lauderdale gets tossed around in conversations now with Austin and Nashville, these great cities that we have, and Fort Lauderdale is getting that recognition. And this park, the vision that we have, that goes in tandem with what's happening here in Fort Lauderdale. But what I'm going to do is play this video so you can get a little flavor of that.
Introducing Huizenga Park Reimagined, a newly designed community hub for a city that's always on the move. In the heart of downtown Fort Lauderdale, you'll soon find this urban oasis where you can grab a bite to eat, become immersed in new activities, or simply relax and take it all in. Your new outdoor living room in the center of it all. Huizenga Park, a special place for everyone, forever.
So with that, I want to introduce Jenny, and she's going to tell you a whole lot more about our vision, where the park stands today, and where we are going in the future. Thank you.
Jenny Morejon laying out the details and the distinctions of what they want Huizenga Park to represent.
We've seen such an increase in growth just since the pandemic, but not only with new young professionals looking to make downtown their home, families coming to the urban core. We've seen a 70% increase in the number of families with children call the downtown their home. And so with this park, taking the advantage to keep some of the best assets of almost a 3.5 acre site right on the New River at the intersection of Las Olas and Andrews Avenue, really the heart and soul of downtown, but to make it a place where we can continue to connect in the community, to have those social connections, those meaningful relationships, a place for leisure, a place for activity. You know, Huizenga Park has become the unofficial dog park downtown with the great lawn. We want to be sure that our furry friends in downtown have a permanent space that's cordoned off so everybody can enjoy it, not just the dogs on the lawn. But also great parks around the country have unique, iconic art that is special to that city. When you travel around and you go to great parks or plazas or town squares, you remember the feeling that you had in that city. We want to replicate that for something that's uniquely Fort Lauderdale. And sometimes that can mean some bold, fun artwork. This is a park in Dallas. You know, everybody's looking at you, but it's fun. And we want to bring that sense of fun, excitement, a little bit of the surprise into Fort Lauderdale in our central park, really. So we've been working on a playbook. You know, like any great sports teams, the Panthers, thank you, Wayne, you really have to develop a playbook to understand how we're going to get from here to success. And so we've been working, the DDA, our leadership and the board, over the past couple of years to really understand how do great urban parks, how are they designed, how are they funded, how are they programmed with great activity for all, how are they managed. And back in 2019, we brought in a group of experts from the Urban Land Institute. They interviewed over 150 community members. They were in our town for about a week. We walked up and down the river, and we talked about why parks and open spaces are so essential for growing cities like Fort Lauderdale. We really found that the best urban public parks have the same 6 themes that they look at time and time again. We studied the model from Bryant Park in Manhattan, which is a public-private philanthropic effort that transformed the park behind the main library from what was downtrodden to a place that everyone can go to any hour of the day, any day of the week throughout the year, not just a place for special events, which is what we're looking at. Great cities around the country, it's not the local government only that's making sure that great downtown parks are successful. It takes the private leadership, the community and philanthropic leadership as well, and that is the foundation's job to make sure this park is successful for everyone. And then active daily programming. You know, if any of us, when you ultimately visit this Reimagined Park, you can go there knowing that something exciting or maybe just low-key is taking place in the park. A series of reading rooms, you know, dog training courses, maybe meetup groups for students at the Florida Atlantic University and Broward College. Not just a place where thousands of people converge for big events, but more of an active community park every single day. We have introduced, where there is the old amphitheater that's very rarely used, a restaurant. And that is part of the big business model to make sure that we can obtain some funding for upfront capital, but also a sustainable revenue stream that allows us to make sure that we have attendance in the park. Daily, high level of maintenance, cleaning, and programming that will make this park successful. The beautiful Spirit of Fort Lauderdale fountain, named after Wayne Huizenga, it's so important and iconic at that intersection. Keeping that, but improving it and making it a real iconic signature piece on that corner. Having places for leisure, intimate spaces where you could sit and grab a cup of coffee, connecting the river to the park and the park to the river. Right now, you might be standing on the edge of the Riverwalk, and I know some of you walk this beautiful Riverwalk, maybe even daily. You might not even know the park is back there, or a great museum of art. You may stand on the steps of the Museum of Art and not know that there's a great park or the river just steps away. We want to make sure all of that's integrated. All of this is possible because this is a new model for how we can improve parks in Fort Lauderdale with the public sector, the private sector, and the philanthropic community, with leaders like you. We've been fortunate enough to receive a $1 million grant from the state of Florida. We also, because we've demonstrated that this is a model that can work, received support from the city of Fort Lauderdale for a $5 million capital contribution towards this park and a sustained partnership to help us with the operations and maintenance. So the public-private success is there. Now we're building the philanthropic model, and that is through the Huizenga Park Foundation.
The Huizenga Park Foundation is looking to raise $5 million towards this effort, so about a third of the money. We are just over halfway there. As stated, our family fund here at the Community Foundation of Broward put in $500,000, and the Huizenga family, through the 4 kids, put in $1.5 million. And so that obviously kickstarted this campaign quite nicely. We're asking that the Community Foundation and the fundholders get involved with this project. It's transformational for our downtown. Again, with 25,000 new residents, they need a backyard. They need a place to congregate. Those apartments are small. So all world-class cities have world-class parks. And that's what the reimagined Huizenga Park will be, a world-class park.
The one message coming across today, it's going to take the entire community to bring Huizenga Park Reimagined to fruition.
I'm constantly amazed at how the leading citizens of this city pull together to make these special places happen, and I just felt total confidence that this was going to happen here as well with the Huizenga Plaza.
To learn more about how to support Huizenga Park Reimagined, visit the Community Foundation of Broward online at cfbroward.org.